The Democrats locally reacting to the news of Biden stepping aside and Harris stepping in.
Political reporter Calvin Cutler joining us now in the studio. Calvin, you spoke with top Democratic officials in Vermont. What happens now?
Yeah, good evening, Darren and Kat. Many are quickly gathering around the vice president and beginning to build political momentum. Over the weekend, the chair and vice chair of the Democratic Party met with their counterparts across the country and backed Vice President Kamala Harris. A political earthquake with an aftershock in the Green Mountains.
I was actually very sad for him. He did the right thing, but this is really tough. He spent his whole career in politics and then can't run.
Former Vermont Governor and DNC Chair Howard Dean says Biden has a productive legislative record. He expects Harris and Democrats will go on the offense against Republicans if she wins the nomination.
So I can't imagine any Democrat being a better candidate than her.
He could point us more than most presidents could do 2 terms.
Senator Patrick Leahy and Biden entered office around the same time in the 1970s and developed a close personal relationship. He says he supports Harris, who he appointed to the Senate Judiciary Committee, at the top of the ticket.
She was always very well prepared, and she'd be very well prepared to become president.
Senator Peter Welch was the first senator to call for Biden to step aside. He thanked the president for his service, but stopped short of fully endorsing Harris, instead wanting to leave the nominating process open at the convention.
Having an open process where you're acknowledging the importance of grassroots activists, concerned people, and letting them have an opportunity to weigh in.
Vermont will send 24 delegates to the Democratic National Convention in Chicago next month. 16 were pledged for Biden, but since he's dropped out, they're allowed to make another selection. But many are already rallying around Harris.
She will be the first Black, the first South Asian, the first female president, a lot of firsts. But it's beyond that. We will be electing someone who has actually shown us how she would lead.
I think the energy and enthusiasm for her candidacy and for really the nationwide efforts of the party up and down the ballot in the last 24 hours have been really heartening and given us all a lot of hope and energy.
But Republicans tell us this shakeup won't change the nature of the race.
And whether it's Kamala Harris or some other Democrat, I think Republicans still have the majority of voters on their side on the main issues. It's affordability, it's public safety, it's the border.
Now, Vermont's delegation is meeting tonight to suss out details about who they'll support heading into the convention, which kicks off next month in Chicago. Darren?
Calvin Cutler, thank you. Lawmakers from across our region are mostly on board endorsing Kamala Harris for president. So far in our region, New Hampshire Senator Maggie Hassan, New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, as well as Representatives Becca Balint and Annie Kuster offered their support for the vice president.